On Veterans Day, I think it's important for people to understand that the people who serve are doing so because they choose to protect their homeland or their adopted homeland.
We were born on June 6, 1975, D-Day in Kiev, Ukraine.
I was born in 1935 in the town of Ruzhad, Poland, outside Warsaw.
I'm a Vietnamese American. Life in Vietnam before the war was so fantastic. South Vietnam was considered as the pearl of the Southeast.
My family lived in Riga, which now is Latvia, but at the time was the Soviet Union.
I'm from Bhutan. I was almost 8 years old when my parents left the country. The Bhutanese army are threatening them.
Being Jewish in the Soviet Union meant that you couldn't freely express your religion. Having to hide your religion, having to hide your beliefs.
My dad, he wanted a better life for his children. He was fed up with the communist system. It was hypocrisy based on a false ideal.
North Vietnam invaded South Vietnam and took over the country. My father and my uncles were captured and put away in a hard labor camp.
We resettled in a refugee camp in the eastern part of Nepal for almost 18 years. The life over there is unimaginable. You see every day the children are dying.
Anti-Semitism was so prevalent. We were always criticized, called names, belittled, made feel like dirt. When the war broke out in 1939, we ran away close to the border of the Soviet Union. The Russian authorities sent us to Siberia, to a gulag, a slave camp.
They left Vietnam on the 1st of July, 1980, during the stormy season. The engine was broke down and we stranded at sea for 15 days. We ran out of food on the 3rd day and water on the 5th day. The people start to die. On July 15, that was my birthday, we got rescued by the U.S. Navy and I turned 15 on board of the USS Strauss, and we allowed to come to the U.S. as political refugees.
It took us 11 years from the time the war broke out till we ended up in a country of our choice, America.
America is the land of opportunity, so we convince our parents, fill out the applications, and that's how we get resettled in the United States.
I am so blessed that the Navy gave me the second chance at life. So I submit my resume for the program called the Naval Nuclear Engineering Program.
My older brother was Michael. We were just a year apart. His friends called him Captain America. He used to say that because he wasn't born in the US, he couldn't be president, but that meant he would be a 4-star general. And that's why he became a Green Beret.
As soon as I get opportunities to resettle here, I feel proud and I want to give back to this country, so I joined in the US military.
January 65, I volunteered to join the Army. I went to Vietnam. I was a captain.
I commissioned in May of 1997 as an infantry officer. I went to serve in the 82nd as an airborne infantry platoon leader, and then about a year later, I commissioned this guy into the Army. We've always felt like we're Americans. It was our way of paying back our adopted country, defending it with our lives, certainly if necessary.
There were militants holed up in a school. The Iraqi forces were fearful and they pulled back. My brother said to their team that we're going in. My brother was met with a small arms fire and shrapnel. Michael was killed in Najaf, Iraq on August 12th, 2004.
I served in the military for 21 years. I think my time in Iraq, in Korea being very close to the militarized zone, my time in Kiev, my time in Moscow, my time on the National Security Council as a military officer, lent itself to understanding how fortunate we as Americans are.
After 2.5 years of my active duty in Army, I'm working at a veteran hospital. I feel very happy and proud. Still, I am a part of a military now. I'm serving those who served for us before. They makes my day every day happy.
I served 5 years in the Navy. My 3 years active duty, I was a nuclear training officer, and I think America is the most generous country in the world that would bring in the refugees and give you the opportunity to be someone exceptional.
The refugee experience is an important part of a lot of Americans' self-identity.
Some of us came here earlier on the Mayflower, and some of us came later on the small boats. We are part of that fabric of the society.
I felt like a human being in this country. I always told my children to be patriotic because there's no country like the United States. It gave me my self-respect. My name is Morris Silver, and I retired from the Army as a major.
My name is Tika Dahal. I'm an Army specialist.
My brother was Michael Tarlovsky. He was a captain in the U.S. Army. He was a Green Beret and a Ranger.
My name is Huey Windhill. I am a lieutenant in the Naval Nuclear Engineering Program.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alex Vindman, U.S. Army retired. I am Yevgeny Vindman, United States Army Lieutenant Colonel.
And I was once a refugee.
Refugee.
A refugee.
Refugee.
And I was once a refugee.